If that wasn't enough to get your queasy stomach queasy, we've got a few more stories here for you. Imagine, if you will, this scene. Good evening and welcome to Saturday Evening Digest. We want to thank you for being here on this inaugural edition of TPRQ's latest weekly news webcast. We're kind of upgrading everything, and as you can tell, I've got duds on and new logos and everything, so we're just moving right along here, and we're getting really classy, even though I'm not wearing pants at the moment. And so let's dig right into the news that made the news this past week. A drunk Russian sailor, captain dude, crashed his cargo ship into a double-decker bridge on the south coast of Korea. And it was figured out later that the captain was drunk. Authorities in South Korea say that while it's not illegal to consume alcohol while aboard a ship, well, I would hope not. Think of all those cruise lines. It is, however, illegal to sail a ship while drunk. Although it is unclear if the captain was at the helm of the vessel during the time of the crash, the ship was going in the opposite direction of its plotted course. And the cargo vessel also reportedly hit a cruise ship moored at a nearby port an hour before its collision with the bridge. The captain apparently ignored radio signals from the Coast Guard to change course because he does not speak English well. Excuse me, but this was in South Korea. All right. In Iowa City, Iowa, Marine Corps veteran Tony French underwent surgery in late 2017 for a brain tumor, and while that is not humorous, neither is the rest of this story. But what he didn't know was that the doctor who operated on him had a little bit of a troubling history. He had his license revoked in a number of states, and so even though he was working for the Veterans Administration at the time, he was not fit to do so. The doctor said everything went fine, 100%. I got all of it, no tumor. And what the veteran didn't realize later on was that he didn't remove anything. The tumor was totally intact. The doctor didn't, it looks like he opened him up, but didn't take anything out, which makes me think that this man was not an illegal doctor. He was just an undocumented doctor. Right? Nothing illegal. He was just an undocumented doctor. So what's the problem? All right. Imagine, if you will, sitting down to a picnic this summer in Aunt Irma's backyard. The whole extended family has joined for the big annual picnic. And of course, Uncle Bill's famous barbecued hamburgers. You're sitting down to the picnic table, you know, those kind with the benches, and there's a nice red and white checkered plastic tablecloth. And you're about to bite into one of those hamburgers when a bee the size of Cousin Rob's appendix lands on your plate. Can you imagine that for a moment? Well, this said insect that we're imagining is not an imaginary insect at all. It's a real live bee, and they caught it somewhere in England. I would have probably died right then and there. Died. If that wasn't enough to get your queasy stomach queasy, we've got a few more stories here for you. Imagine, if you will, this scene. You're dining in a somewhat fine dining establishment on the Oregon coast, and you ask your server, "Excuse me, but may I use the public facilities restroom?" And the server directs you to the back, and you go in there and you sit down and you pull everything down or up, depending on your situation. And you sit down on the throne and you just relax. And then you look over to your left, and there's a bathtub. A bathtub in the public restroom. And you're thinking, well, that's a little unusual in itself, but what's really unusual is inside the bathtub is an assortment of rocks, artfully arranged, but upon which rest two lizards, or crocodiles, or iguanas, or whatever. Amphibians, nonetheless, which to me don't belong in a bathroom. But they're there to accompany your peeing and poopage, I guess. The WPBGV, or the Welcome to Portland Bureau of Getting People to Visit, they announced apparently that a llama can go on Portland's mass transit buses and trains, and it did this week. So welcome to Portland. All right, in some random city this week, an employee of the local McDonald's was arrested for allegedly, and we certainly hope this was only alleged, to have had absconded with scores and scores of the store's chicken McNuggets. But what makes this story frightfully disgusting is that he absconded with said nuggets in his rectal cavity. It's on the internet, folks. It has to be true. And finally today, we would like to show you a little bit of what we're going to call a regular old feature at Saturday Evening Digest, and that's going to be a little message from the Grammar Police. And this little message is, well, from Portland's once famous newspaper, the Oregonian. And they had this story right here. A man charged with threatening U.S. Senator Rand Paul. Family ordered committed until able to aid in his defense. So this, in my opinion, steps into a new vista, a new area, a new thing of legal conundrums for families. I mean, why did the judge order the family committed until they were able to aid in his defense? But guess what? I don't think that really happened. I think this was an error of comedies. I mean, a comedy of errors. No, a comma of errors. We need another comma in that sentence. I'll let you figure out where, or maybe even a semicolon. I don't know. It just the whole thing is screwy. It's weird. Anyway, if you happen to spot a headline printed somewhere, or a notice, a notification, or a post online or whatever that needs grammatical or spelling correction, you let me know. Let us know. Please make sure that you likey and subscribey and tell others about this, because we really want to become famous. I want to so bad get more than 100 subscribers, and I only have 63 or 7 or something right now. So just, if everyone watching this tells a friend to watch it, I'll be over the 100 mark, and then we'll move on from there. So please do those things, and thank you for joining me, Jacques SCAB. And remember, make sure to unload the dishwasher. Until next week, this is Jacques SCAB, TPRQ, with Saturday Evening Digest. What did they announce? What page am I on? There's nothing. Oh, I guess I get to ad lib. They announced that a llama can attend. To have had absconded